This is Eat, Sleep, Invest, the marketing podcast for real estate investors to get more deals. Hey, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Eat, Sleep, and Invest. I'm your host, Bryan Driscoll, and Dustin Singer is back with us this week as well. We're going to talk about automation. So last time he was on, we talked about like the sales process, what to do there. Now we want to talk about what to do for the people that you can't get a hold of. So, hey, what's going on, Dustin? Thanks for coming.
What's up, Bryan? Thanks for having me again. Glad to be here.
Right on, man. I'd say, like, you tell me, what kind of numbers are you seeing that people that you just like, you're going to get a high number of people from online leads that just don't answer or just can't get a hold of? Like, what do you think the numbers are?
They're definitely pretty high. So it probably, out of 10 leads, you might have 6 or so that just aren't even answering the phone.
Yeah, that's about the same as we see. We see like 6 people don't answer, and then 4 of them are decent. You can try to lock one of them down.
Right.
So say out of 10 people, we get a hold of 4 of them. These other 6 people filled out a form on our website. Like, we think they want to sell their house. What do we do?
And we talked about this last week, but we have a process where we do a live call 2 times a day for 3 days. It does send out automated text messages and emails to those people during that process, because a lot of people don't want to pick up the phone, but they will text. A lot of people email too. That's a big thing. If they do not answer text, email, or phone calls through that 3-day process, we throw them right in an automated follow-up sequence.
Okay. So you're saying in the 3 days, you're sending them manually and then putting them in automated, or they're automatically going in there?
No, we are manually putting them in a follow-up sequence if they're not answering within that 3-day period.
Okay, cool. So lead comes in, first 3 days, you're manually hitting them up, text, email, phone. After that, then it goes into the automated system to touch them pretty much, right?
Correct.
All right, cool. So whenever it goes into this automated sequence and an automated system, like, what's happening?
So we have a little over 3 months. I think it's 97 days. It is a totally hands-off automated follow-up sequence. It's a different section of our CRM. So these leads are out of our pipeline. They're off in a follow-up section. And pretty much what is happening is that we have programmed in texts and emails that are going out at certain times of the day. We like to alternate. So sometimes they go out at 8 a.m., sometimes they go out at 12 p.m., sometimes they go out at 3 p.m. We do keep them within the hours, just FYI, of like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We don't go anything outside of those hours. But it's pretty much just hitting these people at different times of the day with different formats to try to get them on the phone.
Okay, give me an example. Like, say you call someone 3 days, text them, they don't answer. Like, what are a couple texts you think you're gonna hit them with in the beginning that's automated?
Well, so the one of the first ones is, hey, we've been trying to get a hold of you. We saw you filled out a form on our website to sell your house at, whatever, blah, 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 blah. The first 4 or 5, I think, sequences have, hey, if you want a convenient time to talk to us on your schedule, here's our calendar link. And we talked about this again last week. Real big on the calendar links. So those first 5, 6, 7, whatever email, text messages, calendar link, calendar link, calendar link. Because you figure if they're not answering the phone, they're not answering text, they're not answering email, and they're still not answering us on the automated, I want to make it as easy as possible for them so that they can pick a time they want to talk to us.
Okay, that's huge too. And especially too, because you were talking about like email, text, and phone. Like, I know like you're not getting me on the phone most of the time, but if you send me a text, there's a high chance I'll respond. And then other people, same thing, like they don't respond to text, but email. So if you hit them with all 3 of those, you're kind of hitting all the different ways of communication to increase your chances of getting somebody to get back to you.
Right. There's a lot of different philosophies on this, I think, within the industry. A lot of people will do live calls for 10 days, sometimes even longer. My experience has been that most people don't want to answer the phone. I don't answer my phone unless I know who it is. I don't answer my phone. If they leave a voicemail, of course, I'll check it. And even then, sometimes it's like, hey, I'd rather you just send me an email.
Yeah, 100%. Then it's easier too. And I figured too that text, and especially with these people that are just getting into just interested in like thinking about selling their house. Like, some of them are just looking around and they're probing to get some information. They're not ready to take it's more commitment to get on a phone call than text and email. psychologically.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%. And one of the things that we're implementing that I know you have is kind of like some how it works videos. So, hey, maybe you don't want to talk to us right away. Maybe you want to, last week we talked about upfront contracts. I'm going to be making upfront contracts with these people via video format where they don't feel threatened in the sense that they don't have to talk to me. They can see my face. They can hear my voice. They can start to build bonding and rapport with me without us ever communicating with each other, right? So they're just watching a video and saying, okay, I had that question. He just answered it. Maybe now I feel a little bit more comfortable talking to this guy.
Yeah, you know what? That's huge too, because if they get back to you, if you actually lay it out, there's no secrets. It's like, hey, here's what we do, and everything's super transparent. If they get back to you after watching that, you're probably doing business because you already told them, hey, we're not paying top dollar. You already told them all their kind of everything, all the objections and all the frequently asked questions. There's a high likelihood after they watch that kind of stuff, it's like, okay, I know what you do. Let's take the next step.
Right. And the best part of that is I do it one time and I'm done.
That's huge too. Yeah.
So there's thousands of leads that are potentially going to watch those videos, and I put in a couple hours of work to make them.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You spend the time that's working at 3 a.m. They're getting their answers,
Yep.
And then booking the appointment.
Yep.
All right, cool. So we got automations. We're talking about setting it up immediately because you said right after someone comes in, you immediately send them a text, email, all that kind of stuff. Then manually hit them up for 3 days, and then just set up the automation so that you're staying in front of those people. What are the numbers? I don't know if you know off the top of your head of people that are coming back like 30, 60 days later that you thought just weren't interested.
So no joke, this literally happened yesterday. We had our Can't Reach campaign 97 days. So it sends them a series of text messages and emails for 97 days. In the beginning, it's more frequent, right? We're hitting them pretty much every single day.
Right.
As time goes on and they're not answering, it spreads out a little bit so that we're not annoying them. We don't want to come off as like pushy either. It has to be a really fine line between I'm okay with continuing to get these text messages before like I file for harassment or something. But we actually had a guy just respond day 97 text, and the text said, I forget exactly what it says off the top of my head, but it's something like, hey, this is the last time we're going to attempt to contact you. We saw you fill out a form when you were interested in selling your house. I suppose maybe that's not the case anymore. Let me know if I'm wrong here.
He responded back.
He responded back.
Yeah. And that's huge. That's 3 months out. Like most people, like me, I'm not calling a lead after 3 months. Like no one normally is if you're doing it manually, but if you have these things set up, you set it up once and it's just staying in front of those people.
Unless you have a dedicated team of cold callers that are lead managers that can just call and call and call and call. You're most people I know, they're not doing that manually.
Yeah. And even bringing that up too. So like the team of like I know a lot of guys will hire overseas people to follow up on their appointments and stuff. Me personally, I would rather have the drip going because that's the first touch rather than having someone overseas calling, speaking a different language, things like that is the first impression of your business with these people trying to build credibility with them too. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, there's an argument at the end of the day that if they're motivated, it doesn't really matter who they talk to.
Right.
And I can see that side of the coin. At the same time, my acquisitions manager and I joked that Pittsburgh's a different type of people. Yeah. They want to hear a Yinzer on the phone. Yeah. So, it's us calling. It's us personally calling. That's the reason why we don't spend a lot of time trying to call is because if they're not answering that phone call in the first couple of days, they don't want to talk on the phone right now. That doesn't mean they don't want to talk. They just don't want to talk right now.
Right.
So you're actually building rapport through these text messages because we're sending these little tidbits of information along with these text messages and emails that builds up our credibility. Yeah,
that's interesting. So pretty much, set up the auto. If you guys don't have the automation set them up. There's tons of different systems out there. We use Go High Level, but there's like Podio. There's like 15 to tons of them out there. Anything else you got to say on automations, Dustin?
They work for everything. I mean, it's not just Can't Reach. You have an offer rejected. You can make an offer rejected campaign. We have a medium motivation campaign, which is 2 years long. Actually, it's over 2 years. Yeah. And people would think, why would you be following up with these leads for 2 years? And I literally had someone call me a couple weeks ago, I think it was. This was before I had implemented all this, but
Yeah.
she saved my number from 2 years ago and called me and asked me if I was still interested in purchasing her house.
That's
So
crazy.
what that tells me though is that if I would have been following up with all of my leads from 2 years ago, how many more deals would I have closed today?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Dustin. So we got all those automations set up. So now we got, okay, leads come in, they're automatically in the system now. We're at least following up with the people we can't reach. How about the people that we got a hold of? Like there's different stages. Like you figure you get a hold of some people and then they ghost you, or you even get an agreement. You go meet someone and then they ghost you. Like, what do you do there?
So the nice thing about this is that once you have all these automations or integrations set up, you can build out different templates for anything. So any situation that you come across in your business, which in ours, there's obviously multiple. E-commerce obviously has stuff left in the cart or whatever. There's different scripts more or less that you can use for any situation you could possibly think of. Most people get caught up on, well, how do I know I'm saying the right thing to the right person or blah, 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 blah. Here's the reality. I mean, you want it to be geared a little bit towards their situation, but it almost really doesn't matter. What the most important part of it is that they're getting those constant touches because you're always top of mind. So it's less about the content, just more about the action. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, and I see a lot too, especially I guess just human nature, but a lot of people in the real estate space too, if they're thinking about setting something up, they have paralysis by analysis or whatever you want to call it, that they're like, oh yeah, I want to set up drips, but then they keep thinking about it and never get to the implementation stage. So that's really important. You brought that up. It's like, get something set up and then you can tweak it if you need to.
Absolutely.
But at least have it going. Okay, cool. So what other kind of stuff you got on the automations there?
So the other big thing that we do, just because it saves us a ton of time, is that you can, with most CRMs, obviously, I know the ones you named earlier, you can do this with all of these, but we actually have our sales agreements tied right into our CRM. So our CRM set up on like a Kanban board with little cards. What happens is you can move a card in your CRM, and a ton of them do this. It'll fire off an automation and actually pre-fill a DocuSign agreement for you. And all you have to do is go in there and just enter like a couple basic items, like stuff that wouldn't be in your CRM, right? Like tax ID, maybe some like weird additional terms or whatnot. But I mean, seller name, property address, date of agreement, buying offer, all that stuff. If your CRM is set up for that, it will pre-fill all that for you automatically. All you have to do is hit send.
That's huge
So
too.
not typing up Word documents and converting them to PDF and then putting them in DocuSign. I mean, it's kind of a big deal.
That is, because you figure, like, I know even anytime I send some of that, mine's not automated, like on any deals. I don't do a lot of deals like you do. But like I'm manually, like you're saying, we have the Word document, then we're formatting it, uploading it to DocuSign, then filling it out in DocuSign with the people's information and sending it. Like 20 minutes.
Yep.
Versus you're talking here, you drag it over, it pre-populates everything. What do you think it takes? A minute or two to get that thing out?
I mean, literally.
Yeah. So
and we do that for release fee agreements too.
Yeah. How hard is that to set up?
So the nice thing is, just like with anything else, you could pay someone to do it. We use Zapier. You can go on their website, set up an account. They have vendors that you can work with to do all this stuff for you if you're not really tech savvy. It isn't that hard, but I kind of have like a little bit of a side hobby doing this and spend a lot of time kind of researching it. But Zapier makes it really simple. You just select the apps that you want to use, that you want to talk to each other, and you pretty much are just filling in forms and hitting save and doing a couple tests, see if it works. And that's it. There's no code. There's nothing like that. You don't have to know HTML or any type of Python or anything like that. So it's pretty simple to use. And the nice thing is you can automate way more than just what we're talking about.
Now on so say the DocuSign, are you pre-filling the values in Zapier?
Yes.
Okay, so they're pulling in Zapier for anyone who is interested. So they're pulling the values from your CRM, pre-populating them in through Zapier into the DocuSign, right?
Right. So what happens is the CRM sends information to Zapier. Zapier formats that information to send to DocuSign. The DocuSign contract kicks out. Like I said, we have to enter, maybe one or two pieces of information. Obviously, make sure that if there's multiple sellers, we might have to put that information in.
Right.
It actually sends that contract to my acquisition manager for him to approve without anyone having to do anything. So not only is it pre-filled, but the contract kicks off automatically.
That's
so
cool.
He's going to get an email from DocuSign saying, hey, here's the contract we just formulated. Check it over. Make sure the email addresses are in there. Hit send. That's it.
Okay, that's cool. And then, yeah, you're right. It's like, give me an example, like some of the more in-depth type of automations that you can do.
So one that we've been experimenting with is in our Can't Reach campaign. You can actually integrate I won't name the companies, I guess, but they're direct mail companies.
Yeah, you can drop names if you want.
Okay. Well, Lob, we're working with Lob right now.
Okay.
So pretty much what it is we're texting, we're emailing, we're calling these people, right? Maybe one of these pieces of information is wrong. So how else can we communicate with them? Well, why don't we send them a postcard directly to the house that they're inquiring about? So part of what we're trying to integrate in our Can't Reach campaign right now is that on the second or third touch, if we don't hear back from them, it's actually going to send them a postcard saying, hey, we've been trying to get a hold of you about selling this property. If you're still interested, we're going back to Calendly,
right.
Book a call with us here. There's no link. There's no, photo necessarily. We're putting a QR code right on the postcard.
Okay.
All they have to do is take out their phone, open most people know how to use these at this point in time. A couple years ago, this might not have been a good idea, but at this point, most people know how to use these. But you just take your phone out, open the camera app, hold it over the QR code, bam, Calendly link.
Yeah. It's crazy too, man. QR codes are been out for 10, 15 years. I thought they were dead. And then something happened.
They're having a resurgence.
Yeah. This last year, I don't know what happened, but now QRs are the thing.
Yep.
For anyone who doesn't know what a QR code is, it's that square, it looks like a, I don't know. It looks like whatever you'd see on at the grocery store, like a scanned item, but it's a square. It's a barcode. And then you just take a picture of it on your phone and it opens up the link or whatever you have it programmed to do. So that's pretty cool. And then, and sending mailers and stuff too. Now, how long you been doing that? You seen any response from that?
So I've actually still been in testing stage with that. I have not put that live yet.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Cause that's interesting too. I was just talking with someone else too, a little bit different topic about mailers though. And they said what he will do is when he sends someone a piece of mail, the first touch, they send 5 pieces, all different formats. It might send a yellow letter. They'll send a postcard. They'll send this and that. And then just because it's number one, they're going to know who you are. You just send them 5 different pieces, but they might engage with one of them too. And they said they're crushing it.
It's an interesting thought.
It is. I've never thought about that. I'm sitting there thinking, I'm I don't know, maybe that is kind of cool.
It reminds me of the double or triple ring.
What's that?
Familiar with that? So when you're trying to get a hold of a lead, most people won't answer on the first go around. But if you call that lead 2 or 3 times in a row, then that person thinks it's important and they're more likely to pick up.
Oh, you mean like psycho call them?
Yeah.
Like one after another?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, I guess people would think it's more important.
Yeah.
Probably get jacked off at you too when you answer the phone. Be like, what do you need?
Depending on who it is, sure.
Right. But and that's the thing too. A lot of times just getting them on the phone and letting them talk. It is interesting because even if you're being a pester, and then once you start getting them to talk, the conversations change.
Yeah.
You just need to get that conversation going a little sideways, but it's interesting stuff there.
Yep.
All right, cool, Dustin. I think that's a lot of information there. Anything else you got, or we pretty much cover at least the basics?
No, I think that's at least the basics. Just get something going.
All right, cool. Hey, and if anyone needs to reach out to you for anything, how do they get a hold of you? Give me your website, phone number, or whatever.
Sure. So easiest way is you can go on our website. It's dustinbuyshouses.net. Fill out a contact us form. Those go directly to my email. Also, my email is just Dustin, DUSTIN, at dustinbuyshouses.net.
Cool, man. Hey, well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Bryan.